Hello, everybody. It's me, Roscoe, and welcome to another Kings of Anglia podcast special. And today, I'm joined by a very special guest. It's Ipswich Town Women's player, Angela Addison, who's going to discuss her career as a whole and joining the club and the season so far. Angela, thanks for joining me. How's things?
Yeah, things are good. Happy to be here. Happy to be an Ipswich player. Started the season off really well, so really happy.
It's good to hear. And I want to quickly ask you straight away, how's it training in the rain? Because it's been, raining cats and dogs recently.
I mean, it's off and on, but you got to be used to it, now. Like, I've been doing this for, I think this is my 6th season, so yeah, just used to it. You get on with it. Lovely slide tackles.
Of course. And obviously the last game, as of this recording, was a 6-0 win against Billericay, and that was a wet evening as well. But before we get into the season as a whole, I want to talk about you as a person, as a player. Some people may not know this, but you're a twin. Big question is, who's the oldest?
I'm a twin. My twin sister's called Trace. She is the oldest. She actually used to play for Billericay back in the day and come up against Ipswich a few times herself. But yeah, she's 3 minutes older than me.
And obviously, twins, there's always those questions about twins, but who is like the top one? Who's like is always like very competitive?
I mean, it can be, but we support each other. I think as you get older, you kind of push that to the side and you want each one of us to do well in the career that we choose. But she's been unlucky with injuries, and I've kind of just pulled away on that part of it. But yeah, no, she's a very good footballer as well.
It's good to hear. And I always like to ask your first football memories. How did you get into football? Were both you and your sister? Did you both want to get into football straight away?
Yeah, I think we was around like 4 years old. We have I have another big sister, and I've got 2 older brothers, and they kind of started it for us. The 2 older brothers, Aaron and Robbie, used to take us down the park, even though they didn't want to. Mum used to force them to and stick me in goal, actually, and just fire shots at me, to be honest. But so that's how we got into it.
And have you always been like an attacking player, or I say you went in goal, because you had to go in goal? But did you play everywhere?
No, so I started off as a goalkeeper in younger ages, and when I joined, fun fact, Ipswich Academy, which was around 2010 maybe, 2009, 2010, I went there to be a goalkeeper. Wow. But during shooting practice, they kind of said, "Are you sure you want to go and goal? Like, you've got a good shot on you." And I thought, "Nah, I want to go on pitch." So then I started my days as a midfielder, which is around that 10 position, more of an attacking midfielder, and then went to Harlow and transitioned into a winger, and yeah.
How do you look back at your time at Ipswich? I know it was back then, the club itself wasn't, as big as it is now in terms of, women's football. But yeah, obviously, I think they disbanded the academy back then, unfortunately.
Yeah, they did. We weren't there for a long time. Me and my sister was there as well. We weren't there for a long time. And then, yeah, like you said, it just got taken away, really. We weren't the only academy. There was a few other academies around the UK that got taken down as well. From then on, it was all about just finding a Sunday league team that you could just go and play for.
Yeah, and obviously, women's football is growing, girls' football is growing more and more. I've got a young niece who's loving our football right now, and just seeing her, she's obviously inspired by the Ipswich Town Women's team and the Lionesses and everything. But for you, obviously, it was growing women's football. In that time, you were born in Chelmsford, if I'm right, and you started your career at Basildon, obviously Essex side, who were a third-tier side at the time.
Yeah. Football's growing massively. Like when I was younger, it wasn't a job, so you did it with not the expectation for it to become a career, but just because you enjoyed doing it. And then I started my women's footballing career at Basildon. First off in the reserves, as always, got to earn your right to get into the first team. Played in the reserves for half a season, and then played in the first team for half a season, just coming on off the bench, and then started to start games regularly for them. but half a season isn't as long as a full season, and before you know it, it's the end, and you're figuring out where you're going next. But I was definitely going to stay at Basildon for another season.
And you played alongside your sister as well at Basildon, if I'm right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so she had an injury, but then she come back. The season after, we got a full season together. Yeah, she was on the right and I was on the left.
That must have been great though to be, playing with your sister in the same team and, winning games, scoring goals and all that.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I mean, we did have a few arguments on the pitch just because we know how good each other kind of is, and our expectations were high. So maybe when we didn't get a pass right, we'd have a little bit of a bicker, but yeah, it was all good.
Yeah. And I'm now just looking. You've actually got a Wikipedia page. I don't know if you know about this. Do you know about this?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, family told me. Yeah.
So I'm looking, obviously, prolific goal scorer for Basildon as well in the third tier. Do you look back at that time with fondness because that was your start of your time as a women's footballer?
Yeah, I mean that was a very crucial part of my career, and it's that season and a half is probably why I've ended up having the experiences that I have had. So yeah, Basildon holds C&K Basildon always holds a special place in my heart, and so does the players that played there at that time.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're not a team anymore, are they? I think that's hashtag who took over them in terms of the team and the league where they were put in. But yeah, I'm sure you look back and obviously I'm sure you'd speak to your teammates from that time as well, and I'm sure some of them are playing and you're coming up against them as well.
Yeah.
Then you moved to Spurs, who were in the Championship at the time. How did that move come about? And that was just feel like your next step.
Yeah, so that was quite surprising. I thought maybe I'd get a few offers from like the league that I was in at the time. But having an offer from Spurs that were the league above I was kind of taken back. Again, wasn't really looking at that thinking, oh, I'm going to make it. But I was looking at it as, oh, it's a step up, it's an opportunity. And I love playing football and, challenging myself and going the league above would do that. Funny story how that came around because Juan and Karen were the managers at the time. So Juan came to a game. It was C&K Basildon versus Palace. Wasn't there to scout me. Was there to look at other players. We lost the game 2-0, but come away with, a high expectation, and it was a high performance for myself. And yeah, that's how they got in contact.
That's good. And yeah, Spurs, obviously, they've grown their women's team through the years. Obviously, they're a championship team and obviously helped them win promotion to the Super League as well. So that must have been a great thing for your career milestone, getting a promotion on your CV.
Yeah, I mean, it all happened very, very quickly. 1 minute you're playing for C&K Basildon, who no one knows about. The next minute you're getting promotion to the Super League, the top league of women's football in England with Spurs. So yeah, it was a bit of a flash, but an incredible experience.
And I'm sure it was a dream come true, signing your first professional contract. When you got told that, I'm sure you're just over the moon. Your family were, so pleased for you.
Yeah, disbelief really. Like I said, when I was younger, when you first start, it wasn't a job, and now you're being handed a contract, and it will become a job and a career. It's a bit risky, I must say, because back then, I mean, nowadays you can get a longer contract, but back then it was just like a year option. So I had a job at the time, and it was like, oh, do I leave my job to do this? Because after a year, if it doesn't work out, because it's a whole new league, you kind of back to square one. But yeah, I trusted my ability and believed in myself, and yeah, signed on the dotted line.
That's great. And if it's right to ask, what were you doing work-wise? Obviously, I'm sure you would have. Were you still at college, or no? You're probably a bit older than that. I don't know.
Yeah, I was 19, so I was working for a company called Serrano, who distribute like suntan lotions and sunbeds to like salons. So yeah, proper Essex.
Yeah, very, very, very much so. But that's fine. It's fine. I'm sure we've got a few Essex girls in our squad, and I'm sure listeners as well. And then I want to speak to you about your first goal in the WSL because somehow it's a header. If it's
Yeah.
right for me to say, you are a small player, but you were able to get a header. It was against Everton. It was a comeback as well. You're 2-0 down. Spurs, and then you got the draw. But yeah, I've just watched the goal back this morning, and yeah, you get in there and just boom, header.
Yeah, it was. I mean, to be fair, for C&K Basildon, I scored a fair few headers. I think it was around like maybe 10 plus, maybe throughout my time. That's including cup games. But yeah, I'm quite good aerially. Like, I know I'm small, but I believe it's all about the timing and fell to me in the box and position. Obviously, like I'm in between two players. It's beaten one of them and it's fallen to me. And yeah, so it was a very special moment for me, that.
Yeah, I can imagine. And how do you look back at your spell at Spurs as a whole? An opportunity to play in the Super League and playing with some top players. Were you able to play at the Spurs Stadium? I don't know if it was was it there then, or was it White Hart Lane?
Yeah, no, it was the new stadium, and yeah, I did get to play at the Spurs stadium. I mean, throughout my career with Spurs, I got to play on some incredible pitches, from Spurs to West Ham to the Emirates, like Stamford Bridge. Like, yeah, my experience was incredible with Spurs. I was there for 4 years. 3 of them were in the Super League. I learned so much knowledge from the background staff to the management to the coaches. Work with multiple coaches, a few managers, and yeah, just learned so much, and I am grateful. But obviously, I worked very hard to do so. So yeah, that puts me where I am today.
Yeah, obviously you joined Charlton. Do you feel that was just the right move? Dropping back down to the Championship and staying in London as well. Were you living in London or were you commuting from Essex?
No, commuting from Braintree, Essex. So it is a little bit of a drive, but not too much, I guess. Yeah, I felt like it was probably the right move. Like, I knew Karen, obviously, because my time at Spurs, and Laura Kaminsky was the coach there, as well as Ratish, but I knew Laura from Spurs as well. So I felt like it was a good move to go and get minutes, play more games, establish myself there. New club, new challenges, of course. Yes, a drop down, but it's still new challenges, and why not?
Yeah, and obviously last season missing out promotion. Obviously Palace went up and obviously got some new teammates who were part of that Palace team. But yeah, that must have been disappointing. Missing out promotion on that final season.
Yeah, of course, it was a little bit heartbreaking the way it all ended, and especially to Palace, having them be our rivals as well. But yeah, like, for us, we done really well against the top sides and even the middle part of the table. But when it comes to beating the teams that you really need to beat, we didn't get a couple of results, and that's what really killed us in the end.
Yeah, and before we get on to you obviously joining Ipswich Town, I want to talk about you playing for England, because I'm sure that must be another honour to have on your list. Playing for all the youth levels up to the under 23s, under 21s. They obviously switched the name so many different times, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure you look back with those great memories playing for England.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm saying it quite a lot, but again, it was just so unexpected. Like, I thought I mean, I'm not old, but I thought I was getting on a little bit and no one kind of recognised me. But Mo Marley at the time was the manager for the under 23s. I got called up a few times and kind of established myself to even start in games and wearing a number 7 shirt, which is crazy if you think about it, even for the under 23s. But representing England at any age level, you got to be proud of, and even scoring goals as well, and having really good performances. So yeah, I'm happy with my time and at England.
Can you name check any players who were your teammates and who have now gone on to play for the first team?
I mean, obviously Jessica Naz, but she was there when I was in the Championship with Spurs. Grace Clinton, Aggie Beaver Jones as well. So yeah, there's a few there. I'm probably missing out some as well, but yeah, a few for the under 23s.
Do you do much with your England shirts and stuff? Because I know there's a few people they hang it up or anything like that. Do you give away for family members as well?
Yeah, I've given one to my little niece. She wears it. That's hers to do whatever she wants with. But the number 7 shirts, the ones I score goals in, match worn, I will get them framed. But they're kind of folded up away somewhere at the moment.
And when I've spoken to loads of different players, we've obviously got a few players in our squad who have played, for England at, youth level, and just the trips you go on, some of the countries you have to go and visit, and that's another, life experience going to these different countries. I know there's somebody who went to like Andorra and those sort of countries. What was those trips like as a whole?
Yeah, like obviously fantastic. You get to travel the world really, if you're lucky enough. And yeah, I travelled to a few places with England, and you get your passport stamped, and you get to see these wonderful places. And yeah, no, it is brilliant.
And obviously, you've done full circle, as you mentioned earlier. You started your career at Ipswich as a youngster, but now back at town as a player who's played in the Super League Championship, played for England at youth level. How does the move come about? Obviously, Joe obviously knows a lot of players. Obviously, he's signed a lot of players from Essex. But yeah, how did that move come about?
Yeah, I think Joe's known me for a few years now. Obviously, I've played against him a few times as well. Um, but yeah, like I said, just out of the blue, leaving Charlton, probably got a little bit of information about that, and decided to I think it was give Dale a text, my agent. So yeah, that come about. Had a little meeting, kind of seeing what the club's ambitions are, where they want to go, and it just all matched mine. Like I want to be some part of something that's bigger. I want to, if we can, and obviously that's our target to get promotion. You know, just keep pushing on with this team would be incredible, especially as I started at Ipswich Academy in my younger days, and I did live in Ipswich for around 6 years. So yeah, it'll be quite special.
Did you when you were a youngster? Where did you train? Was it at the training ground, or did you have to do it like the Portland Road pitches? Where the Astro is.
Yeah, so it was at the Portman Road pitches where the Astros were on freezing cold nights. Also, we did train in the Dome at the training ground. Again, freezing cold nights. But that's where we did train.
Yeah, and now obviously you're now at the training grounds, and obviously a lot has changed. Obviously now a Premier League club, which we'll get onto
Yeah,
shortly. But I've got a picture of you actually in action against Town last year because obviously Joe and co played against Charlton in the FA Cup. Got you trying to chase Sophie Pescott down. There you are.
yeah,
Can you remember that game? Obviously a win for your team, Charlton, in that game, but we took the lead in that one. Pescott scored the goal.
yeah.
But yeah, can you remember that much about that game?
Yeah, I can remember winning a penalty in that picture. Chasing Soph, I was probably giving up because she's absolutely rapid. But yeah, won a penalty, went 1-0 down. But yeah, in the end, pulled through with the Charlton team. But yeah, like, we move on, and you look at Ipswich now, and you think, even though they've had great teams for many years, multiple years. I said to Joe, probably the first time I saw him, I was like, "How are you guys not promoted already?" That was my question really. But obviously, hopefully, this is the year, and but that comes with working hard and playing every game like a final. I know it's cliche, but it's true, especially coming from Charlton and losing the lower league team games. Like every game matters, every game's important.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, Joe made some great signings this summer, linking up with Ella Rothford for you. Obviously, had rivals last year with Nat and Charlotte as well, and other players. What was that like knowing you're going to be in a dressing room with former teammates and obviously rivals from last year?
Yeah, obviously it's a bit weird going in and you're thinking, oh, you took the title from us. But
Yeah.
no, they're brilliant. Like you got Nat there, you got Shauna, Charlotte, Ella, obviously from Charlton. Yeah, and obviously getting to know the Ipswich lot. Yeah, they're all brilliant, great players. We've got so much talent within the squad, so much depth, and yeah, it's brilliant for right now, especially with the league and what we want to do.
Did you know much of obviously the current squad before obviously the new signings came in? But did you know much like Pescott and Co? And obviously there's a few Essex-based girls as well.
Yeah, like I knew like stats wise. I haven't really watched Ipswich throughout the years, but I would always have a little look where they are on the table. But yeah, I did know of some of them and obviously how they were performing. And obviously you got Tash that just has been bagging goals for Ipswich for multiple years, and Pescott is just on fire. But you've got the defence as well, from Boz the captain to Meg and Maisie, just everyone. Like you get to know them, you get to know how good they are, and they're so young, but at the same time very mature on the pitch. They have a little laugh and joke off the pitch, but when it comes to playing football and having the knowledge, they are probably way above their time, which is probably credit to Joe the coaches at Ipswich.
Very much so. And let's talk then, Angela, about the season as a whole so far. And it's been a very good start. Obviously, a winning start against Oxford on the opening day. But I want to quickly sort of go straight to the Norwich game, because that was your first goal for the club, in that 4-0 win. What a night as well at Carrow Road. What a great, I think it's 5,000, something like that. Actually, 4,000. But yeah, obviously Town fans, they came in their numbers. There was like a great little away section, wasn't there? But yeah, that must have been a great opportunity for you to experience an East Angling derby.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know the atmosphere at Ipswich. I know playing against it, and obviously being for it now. And the fans are incredible and loud, and they sing. And yeah, I haven't really experienced anything like that, to be honest. Apart from maybe big stadium games when I was at Spurs, but that's how good they are. It is like you're in a big stadium, and having played at Carrow Road now, with the atmosphere, I had a couple of family and friends in the crowd, and they absolutely loved it. They were buzzing, and yeah, it was a great atmosphere and a great night overall.
I'm sure you're pleased to get a goal, early on as well in your Town career, and obviously a big one against Norwich.
Yeah, I mean, it had to be against Norwich, didn't it? Really holding off for that moment, I guess. But yeah, it was great play from the girls, and yeah, just buzzing to get on the score sheet, especially against Norwich, and to kickstart that.
Yeah, and obviously we've had some great wins. Oxford. Obviously we beat Lewis as well. Who had just been relegated. You would have come up against them last year, but yeah, a big win at Felixstowe, 5-0 win. That was another big statement.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, the red card early doors kind of set the tone and momentum, and that being a penalty as well. 1-0 up, but it was an overall professional performance, and again, just well worked, well played goals, and you can really see the team and how they come together, and how well we're playing at the moment.
Yeah, and I want to give you a name check to obviously your former teammate and current teammate, so I'm going to say former Charlton teammate, Ella Rutherford, because what a moment for her, after a year out, and goes and scores against, Exeter, and those, we're 2-0 down, and she goes and scores 2 goals off the bench. That must have been, as a teammate, unbelievable moment.
I mean, that was literally the definition of super sub at the time. So, yeah, she's been through quite a lot of injuries. She's worked really hard to get back, and a well-deserved moment for her. It was quite emotional for her as well, bless her. But yeah, she's doing really well.
That's good to hear. And I want to straight away go on to the Billericay game, because what a win, 6-0 win. Of course, a local game for you, and I'm sure your family to go and see. And you got a free kick in your locker then.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you saw the interview after with Joe, but me and Sean, I tend to stay out and practice a bit of shooting, whether that's free kicks or, a bit of passing and shooting. And guess it's paid off, really. So we'll continue to do that. But yeah, again, a really good performance, goal difference up as well. But again, a professional performance, and most importantly as well, another clean sheet.
And I know it's frustrating, but you go all the way to Newport and the game gets cancelled. But once again, I think those away trips, I know Joe said he gets a lot out of them because of, all of you girls to bond and, stay in the hotel and just get to know each other a bit more.
Yeah, obviously we're all quite tight now. As the season started, you kind of grow relationships throughout pre-season. But yeah, those trips away are good. Like, we're a good group. And yeah, I guess you get to know the team even better. But the game gets called off, but we have a good attitude. We go and train on an Astro, which was a good possession kind of session with a little bit of a game, and get back on the coach and head home.
Yeah, very much so. And what's your go-to for those long away trips? What do you get? You listen to music? You're playing games. What are you doing?
Yeah, a bit of music, bit of TikTok, chatting, and obviously watching the football that's on the coach, which is quite a lot, to be fair. So just football, music, and chatting.
That's good to hear. And I've got some quick fire questions to end the chat, and we've got 5 in total. Hope that's okay. Not too hard. I'm not putting you on the spot too much here, but these are just interesting ones to ask you. Now, first one is, what is the one item you can't live without?
Oh my word. See, I don't want to say my phone, but I'm gonna say
Practical
my
though.
car.
It's practical.
I'm gonna say my car.
Yeah.
I can't live without my car because the second you want to go somewhere, you're stuck if you don't have one. So yeah.
That's a fair point. And do you know what? I do accept phone because at the end of the day, that's what we use it for everything. You know, even just calling family, everything like that, and just
Yeah.
when you need, you know. So I sometimes allow it. So if you need a second item, that is it. But car, very practical indeed. And obviously to get the train, I'm sure you need it to get the train.
100%. There you go.
So there we go. Now this could actually be helpful if you didn't have a car. If you could have a superpower, what would it be? And obviously, flying would be one of them. But if you had a superpower, what would it be?
It probably would be flying, actually, because, I mean, it would be quite cool, wouldn't it? To just fly about to wherever you want to go to. You just get out and go. So, yeah.
Definitely. Now, early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Yeah.
Not many night owls. Not anymore.
Yeah. Don't mind it. And obviously, you're a footballer yourself, but any other sports that you're into? Any other sports did you play, when you were younger?
Oh, my goodness. Tennis is a good one. Badminton, we do that as a family sometimes. Anything with a racket, I think. A bit of golf, actually. I'm not good at it. It's a hard sport, but my dad loves it and my twin sister loves it as well, so I join them every now and then.
That's good. And final question is really your favourite holiday destination. Any holidays on your bucket list? Any other holidays you've really enjoyed?
Definitely Rome and the Vatican City, so that is definitely up there.
Love that. Well, Angela, it's been a pleasure. I want to give a shout out, obviously, to the fans because what's that been like being at Felixstowe? Obviously, it's been some nice sunny days so far, but it does get cold down there. I have to let you know it does get cold. Although you did play against us last year and that was cold. When we played in the FA Cup. But what's that been like playing in front of the town faithful at Felixstowe?
Yeah, brilliant. They're brilliant. Like I said, I really haven't had home fans like it, to be honest. Obviously, at Spurs, it was all about growing the fan base. Same with Charlton, really. But you come to Ipswich and they've got such a strong one already. So, no, they're brilliant.
Have you had opportunity to go to Portland Road to watch any of the Premier League games for the men's team? Because obviously we've had Liverpool, we've got Fulham. It's been crazy last few years for the club. From back-to-back promotions. Hopefully, Ipswich Town Women's team promotion on the cards as well.
There you go. I have been to Portland Road, but like way back in the day, that was quite special. One memory was when they beat Arsenal 1-0. So, but yeah. That was quite an interesting game, but it's brilliant, and obviously the atmosphere you can hear on the telly, and it's crazy. But the fans are all out for it this season.
Definitely. Well, Angela, it's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for joining me. Any other business? Any other notes? Any shout outs you want to do?
No shout outs. Just watch out for the women's team this season.
Yeah, bring it on. Hopefully a Portland Road game is on the cards as well, because obviously last time at Portland Road, 10,000 fans were there, and hopefully that will be something in the future. And I'm sure that's something on your bucket list as well, being able to play at Portland Road.
Yeah, 100%. We got to beat the attendance this time, haven't we? So we got to make that 10,000 even more. So yeah.
Bring it on. Well, Angela, thanks for joining me. Thanks everyone for watching another KOA podcast special. And big up the girls. Hopefully a big season ahead. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you very much.